People don't come to this podcast to look at my face, I hope. I guess we're there. I guess we're going.
Are you
Hello,
guess?
internet. Hello, internet.
You
Hello,
guess?
internet. Yeah, I guess we're live. I'm just guessing we're live right now.
Hey,
Hello,
internet.
internet.
Hey, internet.
This week we have Emilio with us. He is my token American friend. Is that
You have one?
No, I probably have more.
You
Sorry,
have
all of my
wife?
I'm the one that matters though.
Yeah. Emilio this is why I love Emilio, because he's right wing, but he's not like the guy who stormed the Capitol right wing. He's like a guy who we could joke around. Like I call him, I feel like, I don't want to offend you. I'm just going to say you're center of right. Is that what you would say? Or are you like,
well, I mean, like it'd be kind of hard
cry
to
when
like,
Trump walked away?
The word offend isn't really in my category. Like it's not in my vocabulary.
Okay,
So,
then you're not super right wing, because those guys get offended. Almost as bad as super left wing guys.
Yeah.
And girls. I'm sorry, I don't want to gender specify.
I would definitely say I'm more center. It's like center right, yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I like talking to you is because we can make jokes about Biden and Trump, whereas the people who are left wing, you can only make jokes about Trump, and those are fucking tired and gone.
I mean, I'm surprised they're still happening, to be honest with you. Like, fuck, we're like, what, 2 weeks into the Biden presidency? Like, let's just let the Trump shit go.
Like, people are like, convict Trump. It's like, stop talking about Trump.
Yeah.
We all have PTSD from it. We just want to move on.
This, of course, is Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that make people mad online and that Dale always forgets to introduce. That's what the podcast is. That's
because I can never remember that line.
This is Outrage Factory. We're joined by Emilio.
Yeah, I already said that part.
Yeah, I know.
You have to, like, the way that people need to look at it is you got to have the beliefs without having the feelings. Like, that's very important. Mm-hmm. Like, have your belief, just don't have any feelings. It's way easier. Yeah. Life goes way smoother if you feel nothing.
I'm surprised people on the internet haven't realized that as soon as you show someone that you've been offended, they're like, oh, this person has a weak spot. Let's just fucking aim all the arrows at that
until it breaks.
Yeah. They're like, I'm the dragon Smaug, and this is the one scale that's missing, what I got offended by. And then all the people are like, hey, I'm that archer with the giant arrow who's just going to shoot it into the hole. And that's like, for instance, Chrissy Teigen.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she didn't have like but like how everybody got offended. Derek, did you see what happened to Chrissy Teigen on the tweeters?
I saw it 5. So I quit Twitter. I've been off Twitter for a full calendar month.
I quit Twitter.
And I want to say it's fucking amazing. But the downside is that I have no idea what happens in the world anymore. Like none whatsoever. Like people, I found out about, who was it? Celebrity that just died.
Oh, hey, Trump's not the president anymore, Derek.
What? What are we going to talk about now? Christopher Plummer just died. And like, I found out by someone texting me about it and be like, holy shit, Christopher Plummer died. And I was like, I felt like the boomeriest person. Cause like normally I would be the person being like, what? Do you know who Christopher Plummer is?
Are you emotionally attached to the guy from Sound of Music?
He's a great Canadian, man. Wasn't he? He was. I always thought he was the old Nazi in Apt Pupil as well, but that was actually wasn't that Ian McKellen or was that Christopher Plummer?
No, that was McKellen.
That's Sir Ian McKellen.
Sir Ian McKellen. Great.
He's a knighted Nazi for future reference.
Sorry, Dave. We didn't know that you were not only a nerd, but you're a proper nerd.
Yeah,
he is the proper.
Get it straight. I like people's proper. What are those? It's not pronouns. What is it? What like Sir and Mister and Doctor?
That's a title.
Honorifics. Is that what they're called?
I mean, well, if you're a sir, like if you're an actual sir, then like that's more of a title than anything.
I mean, people who know words, just tell me in the comments.
So what did we hear about Chrissy?
Yeah. Short answer, no, I did not see this until 5 seconds ago when I looked at it.
I honestly totally forgot about Chrissy already. I was like, yeah, let's talk about Plummer. He died. Yeah.
Like, I don't know how we got from these two different points, but that was really quick.
Yeah. This podcast is already like schizophrenic already. And it's proper. We're like only like 10 minutes in. But I want to say about Christopher Plummer, as soon as you're
back
over
to Christopher
80,
Plummer.
Yeah, back to Christopher Plummer. The thing I didn't even write down to talk about, but I'm just saying, if you're over 80, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to feel that sad because that's old as F as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's still sad he died, but it's not as sad as, say, like, Kevin Bacon dying. Or not Kevin Bacon. Who's the guy?
Did Kevin Bacon die?
No, Kevin Bacon didn't die. The other guy who has
years.
nothing to do with Kevin Bacon, who I just interchange with in my mind, the guy who died a couple of years ago. He was from Terminator, Aliens, Predator.
That's definitely not Kevin Bacon.
No, it wasn't Kevin. Bill Paxton.
Wait, Bill Paxton died?
Yeah.
Bill Paxton. The guy from Twister?
Did I know this?
Yeah.
Are you sure Bill Paxton died?
3 years ago. Yeah, he died of open heart surgery. He died on the table.
Is that the guy that was in Twister?
God damn.
Yeah, that's the guy who was in Twister.
That's the guy
who rubbed up against Hunt, I want to say.
Helen Hunt?
Helen Hunt. Okay. I was like, Helen Hunt. I'm like, no, that's a cartoon character. That doesn't sound real.
Yeah, he died of a stroke, 2017. God damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, pour one out for Bill Paxton and Christopher Plummer, I guess.
Hey, you thought you found out about Christopher Plummer late.
Bill Paxton died? Thanks a lot, Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was during Obama's watch too. Oh no. That was one of the
that would have been
that was one of the first major mistakes Trump did, was let Bill Paxton
was
die
murdering
on the table.
Bill Paxton, strangling the life out of him with his own bare hands. Dale, Chrissy Teigen, what's the story?
Okay, so Chrissy Teigen, who is the wife of John Legend and is super fucking famous and super rich because she was like a model or something, and she got super popular on Twitter independently of being a model, or John Legend's wife. So she's like rich. She's like 3 degrees rich. She's social media famous. She was a model, and she's John Legend's wife. She tweeted about what's the most expensive thing at a restaurant you ever accidentally bought. And she said this, I can't remember what it was. It was either the hostess or the guy.
It was the waiter. The waiter.
Yeah.
She asked for
the maitre d' or something. Yeah.
Yeah. She asked for a recommendation on wine.
Yeah.
And he just like casually recommended this bottle. And they're like, yeah, that sounds good. And it ended up being $13,000 for that one bottle.
Yeah. So she's like, I was mad because this guy sold us a $13,000 bottle of wine. Like, it's no big deal. And then everybody lost their shit. They're like, way to flex about buying a $13,000 bottle of wine, Chrissy Teigen. Some of us are fucking losing our homes. Derek, you obviously not being on Twitter for a month. You're like, this is fucking dumb. Why are
this is fucking
like this?
Oh, how dare this famous person talk about their famous, like, you're a famous wealthy person talking about your famous wealthy experience. Like, I don't expect Chrissy Teigen to be like, well, one time I accidentally got the white cheddar craft dinner and it was an extra 50 cents. Like, fuck no, that is not Chrissy Teigen's life. That's not what's happening to her. It's like, fuck off.
I guess Twitter just forgot that rich people exist and was like, what the fuck? And it was just like, you guys, and the worst part is, it's like, you guys are the ones who made her so famous because you're the fucking, it's the exact same people who were liking her tweets because it's like, she's a rich person who doesn't take no shit and she's full of sass. And
I mean,
like,
I
like this.
Caveat, I like Chrissy Teigen. I like her personality. I think she's like, she's funny on occasion. Like, she's gone out of her way to like differentiate herself as a person instead of just being like John Legend's wife. She's got like her own personality. She's got her own brand, but like, I think it's fucking.
She doesn't act like the typical celebrity.
Yeah, like she's approachable,
she
right?
Live,
like
she doesn't live her persona. She just lives.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe that's why people were so surprised she was talking about a $13,000 bottle of wine.
Although, did you read any of the replies that she got for that tweet?
I read some of them, and some of them were like, "This is crazy," whatever.
The best one was, it said Chrissy T and John Legend. Oops, accidentally got a $13,000 bottle of wine. And it says, it said Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. And it was a picture of Tiger King, and it said, "We will financially."
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
We will financially recover from this.
Yeah.
That was my favorite reply of the whole
I'm
thing.
gonna financially recover from this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like why?
I don't know. It's kind of like it's kind of like if your neighbor buys a Porsche, you get mad that he's driving a Porsche.
Yeah.
Like it's like, why are you mad there's a Porsche outside when you know your neighbor bought a Porsche? Like if you made this lady famous, don't get mad when she acts famous. And she really doesn't. Like she never flaunts her lifestyle. It's never been like I've never seen anything from her or even John Legend for that matter. Neither one of them go out of their way to like shove it in your face that I'm rich and famous. Like neither one of them ever have.
Yeah, so, they're not like getting a fucking $26 million diamond stuck in their forehead.
And my thing is like that the initial post, like or the tweet, it was never made in the sense of I'm gonna flex on all you poor people. Like it was a conversation starter. It was just her interacting with people. Like, hey, what's the most offensive thing you ever got and then regretted getting?
Yeah, like, exactly. Like it was one of those draw people in to start a discussion.
Right. It was just it's all it was. It was a conversation starter, and everybody like took it and ran the opposite direction with it for no reason whatsoever. Like to the point to where she deactivated her Twitter. She doesn't have it anymore. She deactivated it after that.
Chrissy,
she'll be back.
Let me tell you, if you're listening to our podcast right now, Chrissy, don't go back to Twitter. Your life will be immeasurably better, only you will never know when celebrities die in a timely fashion, including Bill Paxton. You won't find out about Bill Paxton until 3 years later.
I also just want to say, we don't need $1,300 bottles of wine. We will settle for a measly $700 bottle of wine.
I don't even drink, so I will take like the non-alcoholic shit costs considerably less than that.
Yeah, he'll take like a $1,000 bottle of kombucha.
See, this is where my center of right wing status comes in because I prefer my alcohol like I like my violence, purely domestic.
We shouldn't be laughing at this. Good thing this is on Facebook and not Twitter, where you could still make domestic violence jokes. Yeah, so fuck. Sorry, guys.
I'm just saying, I get mad. If I order a beer and it's over $2.50, I'm not happy.
That's like
$2. Oh, I get you. Like I remember, like when you go to a hockey game or whatever sport they play in the States.
$15 pint.
Yeah, they're like, hey, I'll have a beer. I'll have 2 beers. And they're like, that's $35, and you're like, what?
Yeah, like
no,
I sit here and talk shit about not wanting to spend more on beer, and yet in my club I charge $7 for a domestic draft.
Hey, if someone's dumb enough to pay that, you got ladies there too. They gotta.
Yeah, there's the premium, right? Like they're not just paying for the beer; they're paying for the experience.
Yeah, exactly. You want to go into a room and see a naked lady and be a pervert, you're gonna pay more for beer. That's just the rules. I guess we should say you own a strip club and you don't just have women in a room.
Right. It might be good to clarify that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
what's your strip club called? The Soggy Hole? Is that what it's called?
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you want some free advertising for your strip club on this very popular podcast?
It's called Lust Gentlemen's Club.
Oh, that's not a pun at all.
Well, and our slogan is, what do you lust for?
I just didn't know you're allowed to make a business without the name being not a pun.
Why not?
I don't know. It seems like every new business you see, it's like, maybe that's just like e-businesses and smaller businesses that are on the Twitter. So,
Emilio, where is your club located? I was going to ask about this in the pre-conversation, but now I'm like, let's just talk about it on the fucking podcast.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about strip clubs, guys.
Yeah. So where are you located?
That strip club is in Toledo, Ohio.
Okay.
Is that by where that movie Ready Player One was set? Like, do they have mobile homes stacked on top of each other?
Oh, you were making a joke. I see what you were doing.
Yeah. A joke
like multi-level mobile homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it just single level mobile homes? Have you not seen Ready Player One?
It's a pretty good mixture.
Oh, okay. If you haven't seen Ready Player One, go watch that movie so you
I've seen
can
it.
get but not laugh at that joke I just made.
Do you guys have like a mask mandate right now? Like, do the dancers have to be masked?
Yeah, for everything. Yeah, as long as once you, this is like statewide. Once you sit down at a table, then you can take your mask off. But if you had to go to the bathroom or whatever, then you have to wear it to go to the bathroom. If you're gonna order something from the bar, you walk up to the bar and you order it, but then you have to walk back and sit down at the table, and a waitress has to bring it to you. You can't get handed. They can't hand it to you, so you can walk away with it. It has to be brought to you.
That makes sense.
So if you're sitting down and you want another beer, you have to stand up, walk to the bar, place your order
it,
walk back, sit down, and then wait for it to come to you.
What if you do one of these?
You can't. You can't.
Be like, yo,
you can't. Nope. Can't do it.
I want beer.
If you were gonna wait 20 minutes, you're probably gonna wait an hour now.
All right, that's a good point. What about the lap dances? Like, do I have to cover myself and clean?
That was my question. Are private dances happening right now?
And that's the only thing we care about.
They're not happening at all.
Dances?
So like, yeah, but they're like no contact.
That
interesting.
Sounds like
has that impacted business for the like, are men as likely to buy a no contact private dance as they are?
I'm pretty sure every single club in the entire country is slowly just losing money.
Eric, has that affected business? Like, well, it's a real question.
Because I'm thinking, and I'm like, if I'm a dude who regularly goes to clubs, and I'm
if
like, okay,
I'm a dude, Kate doesn't watch this anymore.
Okay,
you can just she
might.
Time.
You never know. You never know. If I'm a person who frequents strip clubs and I'm still going, then if I liked the dances before, I'll probably take the no contact dances just because it's better than nothing, right? But that's got to be still. I mean, you got to assume there's just fewer people in general going to strip clubs right now.
And you both got to wear masks. Like, you and the dancer both have to wear masks.
I'm kind of into that. I mean, this whole COVID experience has made me realize that I
don't like women's faces.
Kind of a mask fetish, I guess. Well, it's just like
I want to get one of those masks where it looks like where you take a picture of your face where you're wearing a mask under your chin. And you get that printed on a mask, so it looks like you're walking around with a mask under your chin. I want to get one of those, just because just so I can have people stop me all the time. Because like here, like I'm really close to Detroit, Michigan, so it's very liberal around here. So like people are like always about the dumbest rules, and so like I really want to get one of those masks just because I know people will stop me nonstop, and it'll bug people. It'll bug the living hell out of them, and I know I will enjoy that so much. Like open carry, like I open carry my like a sidearm, and nonstop I'll have like if I see a woman like grab her child and yank her real close, then like I'll start playing with it, just because I know it's gonna bug her even more. Like if you let me know that something I'm doing is bothering you, I'm going to capitalize on that.
100%, as you should.
It's like the smog thing on the internet with the missing scale. You can't let people know something bugs you because we just zero in on that. It's like we all have like almost the bully mind, where it's like if you show us a weakness, we'll exploit it. And you know what? I think it comes from being cavemen, because when we like had to work together to kill a mammoth or something, if one of us showed a weakness, we would have to be like, yo, bro, you got this weakness right here. And then we would like bug them or bring it to their light so they could work on it, so that we didn't all get squished by the mammoth when we went hunting, if their weakness would stop it. So I think it's like something left over from that.
Yeah.
If you notice, neither one of us had any response to that.
Absolutely, Dale. I agree.
Do you guys want to hear more about my caveman theory?
No. How about we talk about the news?
Okay. Here's actually, I got a way to segue this. Just bear with me, okay?
Okay.
You guys with me?
Okay.
So another thing that happened with cavemen and hunter-gathering is that women would stay and they would pick berries, and the men would be clumped up in a group, and they wouldn't
chit chat nonstop.
Exactly. The men would have to be quiet because they don't want to scare away with a mammoth, and the women would have to talk to each other so they could, because they wouldn't always be in eyesight, so they would have to know they're safe in case like a snake was in the grass or a panther was in the trees. So they're used to just like talking nonstop. So maybe that's what happened in this Tokyo 2020 Olympic meeting where the guy, he's 83, and he said he came under fire because he said that the meetings would have gone a lot sooner if the women didn't talk as much. And he was saying,
in my opinion, he was probably way too nice when he said it. Because if you would have read more of the article, it actually said that like half of the women that were present were laughing about it, and if they're laughing about it, then the point didn't get made. Like clearly, exactly. Our meetings were going too long because you were talking too much. I get that, like, you can't really say that as like an actual committee person for the Olympics, like that's a world organization. So like, I get why he'd come under fire for that.
Yeah, but, like, and he's also
in the same way though. 83. I mean, like, just because your feelings are hurt doesn't mean I'm wrong. Like, yeah. If those meetings really were going way too long because the women just wouldn't stop sidetracking the conversations, then like, yeah, say something. Like, yeah, obviously it needs to be addressed, but like at the same time, it's like, I guess you got to find a way to do it without ripping hair off. When you take the Band-Aid off.
Well, I think the other thing is like, he was talking about those specific women and those specific meetings. He didn't make a statement like, well, any meeting in the world's gonna run longer if there's women in it. He was like, right. Hey, this fucking meeting is running. So like, I get how the optics of it are probably not, like, maybe just not referring to them as women would have been a good start, but like,
like, yes, I get what you're saying. Like, maybe if he was said, our meetings would have gone smoother and would have lasted as long if the people present hadn't been talking too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was saying
was probably the part that got him in trouble.
Like, yeah, he was saying we might have to put a little stipend on how long people are allowed to talk for, like give people a limit.
Right, but also, have you ever like really experienced like Japan culture? So, like over there, like it's very, everything's very masculine. It's very male dominated. Obviously,
Emilio, is this something you offer in your strip club?
Domination?
The Japanese culture experience.
Isn't the Japanese culture experience you just live a sexless existence in an apartment for 80 years and then you die?
and dominate anything with technology? Yeah. But like, their culture over there, and that's one thing that, I don't think a lot of people that were giving him shit about. Like, I get, the Olympics. It's everybody in the world. Like, it's not just one country. Like, it's the Olympics. There's however many countries that there are. That's how many take part in the Olympics. But what people got to understand is, a lot of Asian culture, like the man of the house, that's a real thing. Like, the man is the man, and that's just the way it works.
They do have the outdated.
It is definitely it is definitely, the man is in charge. A man's opinion is bigger. So like, one thing that I think people aren't really taking into account is, just because it's not the same culture that you live on a daily basis doesn't necessarily mean that it's a wrong culture. That goes back to the same thing I said before. Just because your feelings were hurt doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It's the same. It's the same thing. People got to understand different cultures operate different ways. And I think
it's like the Star Trek Prime Directive.
He's 83 years old. Can you imagine how the culture was 60 years ago when he was in his 20s? Like, women probably didn't have any say whatsoever. So, here we are in Japan. It's always been a lot further, or Asian culture in general has always been a lot further behind as far as, the whole freedom thing. So, is it really a shock to anybody that he had something that was so out of left field to say?
Oh yeah, like this wasn't a shock at all. Like you said, like even to take the whole Asian culture thing out of it, an 83-year-old man is used to the world running differently than the way it runs right now. Like, that doesn't give him a full open ticket to say whatever he wants and be like super misogynist
Why not?
or super sexist.
Okay, but why not?
Because he has to, like, if he's in a business, he has to run today's standards.
If I say, Dale, I think your voice is really stupid, you're talking too much on this podcast, and I hate you guys focus. Like, why am I not allowed to say that? No matter how rude it is, why can't I say it?
Because you're not trying to. Because that's different. This isn't really a business, and you're not.
No, but it's not. See, and that's where I disagree.
Well, see, the thing is, if by him saying this, let me make this point, please.
It could be the Queen.
I got a good retort.
All right, I'll listen.
I was gonna say, by making this statement that women talk too long, if he inadvertently bullies some woman or like maybe just coaxes her not into maybe bringing forth some opinion or worry or some trouble that she would have expressed had he not said this, then this is bad. Like, I get it that sometimes women talk more than men, and that can be bad in a time like in an office environment if the time is of an essence. I mean, we're already 2 years after all the time these discussions should have happened. Like, it's the Tokyo 2020 games. It's not even 2020 anymore.
These things aren't even fucking happening anymore, regardless.
No, this just happened. I think they're still trying to get them done.
That's not going to happen. The other thing is that, like, the intent is that he wanted to have more efficient meetings. It wasn't that he was trying to, like, he wasn't trying to mute anyone or say, like, don't say what needs to be said. I think the opinion I got reading the article was that, like, he wanted a lot of this, like, unnecessary, which, like, again, Japanese, they are a fucking efficient, like, clockwork efficient people. I don't think they are as prone to, rambling or tangents as Western
this podcast.
Culture. Like, the Japanese version of this podcast would be over in 10 minutes, and you fucking know twice as much as you do after listening to us for an hour. So
I guess this podcast is the best argument because it's all men and we're fucking rambling and talking way too long about everything.
But that's what it is, though, and like Derek just said, it's, they are very efficient. So the way I took it was they went to a meeting. They had a list of topics that needed to be discussed and figured out. Mm-hmm. What he wanted was to sit down, figure those topics out, and then go the fuck home.
Yeah, because he's 83. He's got to be in bed with his prune juice by 6.
He has to keep moving because his time's running out, so he has to get more shit done. He has less time
exactly. To get He doesn't have many days left on the calendar.
When you've got the Grim Reaper watching over your shoulder, you want to get your shit done quick. Like, you don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Derek has said, I don't think he was trying to mute anybody or trying to say, "Hey, all of your opinions are irrelevant. This is what it should be." I think he was just saying, like, "Hey, we had this whole thing lined up. We had these topics lined up. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about those topics. Get it done with. You guys want to stay in the office afterwards and talk about your pointless stuff? Do it.
Yeah.
But while we're in a meeting, let's do our meeting talk and get it over with."
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. And, like, again, we're in the whole feelings culture where if my feelings are hurt, then it's very important that we discuss it until somebody loses a job or income or something.
Yeah.
In order for me to feel better.
My favorite way my favorite thing about the whole thing was the way he replied to everything. He was like, "I think I might have to take responsibility, and if calls for my resignation grow louder, might be compelled to resign." It's like, it's almost like he's like, "I'm not going to resign yet, but I kind of want to resign because this is a huge pain in the ass. So if you ladies just kind of get a little louder about this, then I'm totally resigning."
Well, I love that he was also like, "Let's see how loud you can get. Like, make some fucking noise. And if you really want to push, like, if you want me to resign bad enough, make some noise."
Yeah. And then
it's almost like he's saying, like, prove me right so I can leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes further. He's like, "I've already been scolded by my wife, my daughter, and my granddaughter,
my niece."
Yeah. Every woman that I talk to in my personal life.
People are throwing tomatoes at me on the fucking street or whatever. Japanese tomatoes.
Yeah. So on the tweet before this podcast, I kind of said, I joked about what would be more surprising, a sexist 83-year-old or a racist country singer. So that's my segue.
Good one.
Morgan Wallen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he was he was drunk. He was drunk and being recorded, and he got into like a little. I wouldn't say a heated argument. It was more of a like they were drunk. The night was ending. He was just getting home, and he was telling somebody's like, take care of that guy. Get him out of here, whatever. And he turned it into take care of that pussy ass N-word. And he said that as he was going up into his house. And whoever recorded it sent that into TMZ. And obviously TMZ ran away with that.
Wow.
Like they hit the ground running.
This is not the time to drop the N-word after the last year we've had.
Especially with the whole Black Lives Matter thing that has exploded in the last 2-3 years. And so he said that. His record label instantly dropped him. He was he was indefinitely suspended. A bunch of radio stations have blackballed his music. They're not going to play his stuff in rotation anymore. He came out with he responded. He did a public apology, and a bunch of African American artists then responded, and a bunch of them basically said, "Get the fuck out. We don't accept." If you're willing to say it, basically what they were saying was a drunk mind speaks a sober heart. And if you said it while you were drunk, you've probably said it more than once while sober. So odds are you've become comfortable saying that enough to where you didn't mind yelling it out in a public street.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're yelling it to someone. Did he know he was being recorded, or was that like?
I doubt it, because the person, like from the video, the person recording was like across the street.
Oh, okay.
So it was almost like it was a neighbor that was recording the incident.
So he yelled it loud enough for someone across the street. Yikes. Like there's a pretty this I don't know. Like this whole thing, it's like
it wasn't like get him. It was a get him. Like
Also
he was audible, definitely.
That sounds like if you're saying get him or take care of that N-word, that makes it sound like you're going to murder them. Like if I know anything about rap music,
I think it was more said in terms of like just get him out of here, like I take him home or whatever. Because
make sure that fellow doesn't hurt himself because he is so drunk. He could have just screamed that.
Yeah.
Said make sure my good friend here doesn't hurt himself.
But it was definitely loud enough, because if you watch the video, it looked like it was somebody that was recording from like either a front porch or maybe just inside the house. So like it was definitely across the street all the way through the front yard. So it was at least a good 60, 70 feet away.
Jesus. Was it?
And it was picked up on somebody's cell phone. So obviously it was loud enough to be picked up on a cell phone.
Yeah. Was the guy he was yelling about one of the people in his entourage, or was it just?
I don't know. He was out with the group, and that was how the night ended. And like I said, he came out with a public apology. He said, he knows it was wrong of him to use that word. He'll never say it again. And a bunch of different artists were like, look, man, like it's pretty clear if you're willing to say that while you're drunk that loud and out in public,
I doubt
how you talk in private.
I would express. I would say that it's highly unlikely that this was just like a one-time like, oh fuck, how did that word even get in my vocabulary? It was.
I've never said that word before.
Yeah, what? I didn't even know I knew that word.
Exactly.
It was more like, oh, I got busted saying it now. Like, I think there should be, especially if you're a fucking public figure. Like, if you're a public figure, there are a number of words you should probably just completely drop from your vocabulary and not say, whether you think you're in public or private or not.
So something I'm curious about, do either one of you have are you able to open another tab on your computer?
I can right now.
Look up Morgan Wallen. He started out on The Voice. Let me know whose team he was on.
How do I spell this? Morgan Wallen on The Voice.
Because at some point throughout, John Legend was a coach on The Voice.
Wait, how do you tell whose team he was on?
I'm almost curious if he was on an African American's team, and then he's using this word.
Wow, this guy looks like a fucking Poindexter in his picture. Like he doesn't even look like a country singer. Sorry, he looks like he's in an emo band.
He was on Usher's team and Adam's team. So
he was on Usher's, and Usher is an African American, which I was just curious. Like the fact that an African American, because that's how his career took off, was from The Voice. They accepted him on there. He got accepted onto a team, and then from there, his career just skyrocketed. He took off. Like that's where he blew up. So I just thought it was kind of funny that he ended up starting out on an African American's team, who basically helped him light the fuse to his career, just so it can end by using a racial slur towards African Americans.
Yeah, like you figure he would have more respect for. It's just, it's terrible.
I was gonna say something that probably would have gotten me recanceled, so I'm
you can't get canceled twice.
I'm not gonna say it. You can't. It's like double jeopardy. You cannot get canceled twice.
I was gonna say, it's like, is there anything more? I don't know. I didn't see too many comments because Emilio was just telling me about this today, because I don't really run in the country music circle, so I didn't really see this. So this was Emilio's contribution to the podcast, but I didn't really see too many, because every time something like this happens, you get like those dickheads who are like, well, if they say it to each other, we should be allowed to say it too. And it's like, no, because
it's kind of created by the white folk to categorize them. So I mean,
exactly. Like it was the slave masters who came up with this term. And I was telling Emilio off air, if you want to hear a conspiracy theory I heard about this whole thing.
Every fucking episode, we tie a conspiracy theory in now.
Dale,
you
not
got
by accident.
Do we got to schedule an intervention, man?
I kind of want to. Well, see, I was going to start a side podcast about conspiracies, and I was like, that sounds like doing research. A lot of it. But anyways,
I'm just gonna believe the conspiracies.
Well, I'm not saying I believe them. I'm doing that thing where I say I heard about something and I don't say whether I believe it or not. Mm-hmm. That way I don't have to emotionally attach myself to the idea. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, there's this guy, Isaac Weishaupt, who does a lot of conspiracy. Like he looks through music videos and stuff to look for Illuminati symbolism and stuff. And he was saying that the N-word might have been put into popular culture by the Illuminati so that these people will willingly call themselves by the same name that their old masters used to call them, in a sort of way to, I don't know, it's like these conspiracy theories, it's like you like listen to them and you're like, oh yeah, and then they're like, and then it turns into like left-hand black magic, because if they call each other this name, then it'll like lower the levels of some sort of spirit thing so that like Satan can take over. And you're like, well, you lost me. But
so what I'll say about that though is, the mindset of people saying like, well, if they call it to each other, then we should be able to say it too.
Yeah.
I'm Mexican. I don't say spick.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I don't call my friends wetbacks.
Yeah. Another thing too is like, just because my neighbor shits in his house doesn't mean I get to go shit in my neighbor's house. Like that's their thing. Like whether they should or shouldn't be saying it to each other is their own problem to deal with. Just like the simple rule is just never say it.
Well, that's like
ever.
Adding on to that, you're not fucking saying it because you're like, oh, I just want to fit it. Like, that's not why you're fucking saying it. You're saying it because you're a racist. and like, you don't get to be like, well, I say it too. Like that, you're not saying it because you want to fit in with black culture. You're saying it because you're a dickhead. They can say whatever the fuck they want. You don't get to say it.
Right. It's not like, hey, Derek, why'd you kill and eat those 13-year-old kids? Well, fucking Jeffrey Dahmer did it.
Like, fuck. I'm a Dahmerite.
Yeah. You're not like, oh, I want them to be my friends, and they call their friends that. It's like, no, you want them to be the opposite of your friends, and that's why you say that word.
Yes. All right. Any more segues there, Dale?
Why do I have to do all the segues?
Oh, I will say that we had the inevitable. There has been just when I Googled his name, it's like, oh, he's seeing like record sales and streaming just like fucking spike through the roof. But the ironic thing about that is that I don't know if that money is going to go to him directly as the artist or to the record label that just shit canned him.
Yeah, so, the label dropped him, so they're probably like, a little. This is a double win. Because it spikes and we don't have to pay him.
Do you guys know who Ryan Upchurch is?
No.
I don't.
Is that another country singer, Emilio? Because I don't know country singers.
So he's a country rapper. It's called Hick Hop, and
that sounds like a 50-year-old woman in the 80s named it.
So he is exploded. Like this dude's a multimillionaire and he's 100% independent, completely against record labels. Damn. And what he does is every week or so he'll put out a video, like basically giving new artists the rundown of why you should be independent and not go to a label, on what a label does, how their ownership works, what it means for you. And so even though, and based on those videos that I've watched, even though they dropped him, I think they're entitled to the money that his stuff makes while he was under their label. They're entitled, I think, for 7 years. So whatever happens for the next 7 years, even though he's already been dropped, it's still theirs. They still own that stuff.
Oh yeah,
like, none of those songs are his. He doesn't own any of that music.
Yeah, he was just like
which is like, kids,
contractor to sing them.
Don't sign with a label. Don't sign with the publishing house. Don't sign, like, do it. You're fucking, there's enough shit out there now where
and keep the money.
Yeah, exactly. Like the reason that people used to have to sign with record labels was because they were the gatekeepers and there was no way to get your music on the radio unless you went through that path. But now with the internet, you could just push it out yourself. You don't need to please a gatekeeper or get them to allow you to go past them. You could just do it all yourself. Like maybe sometimes they'll help getting like publicity on your stuff, but a lot of the times they don't really do that.
A lot of the times they'll also front the money, right? Like if you need to pay a studio.
Yeah. Like all you got to do to see how bad labels are is look into the history of Prince and his troubles with the record label, because that was
or Taylor Swift stuff.
That's stuff that's still going on right now.
Yeah, that was nuts with Taylor Swift. She got totally screwed by that label, because her label got sold. So she was like, "Hey, like you guys are going out of business. So all that stuff of mine that you own, like I want that. Like I want that back. Like now that you guys no longer exist. Yeah. So there's nobody. There's no name to own my stuff now. So I want it for me. It's mine now." And the way it worked out was, it was hers and like a couple other artists. Their music was part of the package deal when they went bankrupt and sold to a different company. And that new company was like, "Hey, we'll give you your music, but you got to give us 4 more #1 albums first."
Ooh, 4 albums. That's like 8 years on a good clip.
So
that's nuts.
That's I think that's kind of screwy right there. I mean, it's and what sucks is like I don't like seeing it, only because like I don't want to see somebody put in all that work, build their name up, become as famous as like Taylor Swift got super famous really fast. And I hate seeing somebody put in all that work and effort and reach that plateau, and then just be like, "Hey, by the way, I'm gonna go just like slap you in the face, push you down a couple notches, and just say good luck."
Yeah, exactly. It's just terrible.
Like, you earned all this, but if you want to actually experience it, I'm gonna need you to give me some more.
Yeah.
Like
Congratulations, and like, you succeeded. Go succeed some more.
Another thing too that happens when you like, because you should always own your own masters or whatever. Like, if anything, I don't know how the fucking industry works, but I remember that whole thing. Did you ever hear about that thing that happened with Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson?
No.
Where
Paul McCartney owned Michael Jackson's.
No, the other way around.
Oh,
what happens was the Beatles didn't own any of their own music, and Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson were friends. They did that song. What song did they do together? I can't remember.
Wasn't it? No, it wasn't Ebony and Ivory. It was, but it was something that was Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney. Oh yeah,
it was something about they were fighting over a girl, and they were actually like really good friends.
The Girl Is Mine.
Yeah. So they do this song, and then Paul McCartney was like, "I don't know my music. I can't wait to go to this," like, because the rights were going to be up from whoever had owned them from when he was in the Beatles. So he was going to this auction to buy them. And then Michael Jackson, who was like, because Paul McCartney was talking about how it's like a good investment, you should always own your own music. And then they went to the auction, and then Michael Jackson was like, "Hey, Paul, I bought your music." He's like he thought it was a good investment to buy it. And then he pretty much, they just stopped being friends forever after that. But now I think Paul McCartney owns his music now. Like, he got it back a couple of years after that. But it's just like, it's weird to think of your music as a physical thing that people could just like swoop in under you and buy them. Especially like if you're the Beatles.
Anything you make, like you And you even look at like a lot of the terms of service on these like internet hosting platforms now, like double check that shit, because I'm sure TikTok owns whatever fucking videos people are putting on their platform, or yeah, Dale,
Yeah,
exactly. They now own Outrage Factory. So congrats, dickhead.
Well, they only own the like 20-second clips I've been putting up on there. Oh, do you guys want to know something completely aside? And I found the best TikTok follow ever.
Was this the one you were texting me about yesterday?
Saxsquatch. Saxsquatch. I think it's I am Sax. Sax, S-A-X, Squatch. So it's this person who dresses up like a Sasquatch and then plays the saxophone in the woods. That's all their videos they do, and they're amazing.
Of all people to find that account, it would definitely be you. 100%. Dude, he probably has 4 followers. 3 of them are his ticket, and the other one's you.
And the best part is he does like I don't know. What do you call like a genderless Sasquatch?
First of all, we're in 2021 now, so get your pronouns right before you guys get canceled.
Yeah, Dale.
Okay. So what is Zach's one? I'll say Zach. Anyways, it has like 1 hour.
How about they?
Like, okay, they do this thing where like every once in a while they'll go on and they'll play music in the woods for an hour, and it's amazing. And like he does a lot of covers. I said he again. They do a lot of covers, but they have some of their own music too.
Man, you're gonna get fined up the A for this.
And if you don't want to go on TikTok, they're also on YouTube.
They are. I was gonna share my screen to show it, but you have disabled screen sharing, probably for good reason. So
I probably never enabled it. Do you want me to do that?
This definitely looks like a male Sasquatch. I'm just putting it out there. He looks like
we don't know what the person under the suit is. Like it's a male Sasquatch suit.
No, but like looking at the suit is a male Sasquatch.
Derek, don't finish the sentence. Don't finish the sentence.
I'm not gonna.
Don't tell me.
I'm not gonna do it.
Because there are some women with broad shoulders too. And we don't know.
I wasn't gonna say. I was just saying the Sasquatch
are you gonna say
itself.
Have you not ever seen a picture of Michelle Obama? I'm not allowed back, am I?
No, you are. It's your third time. You said worse than that in the past.
We'll see what our 3 listeners have to say.
Hey Dale, look, I did get some. I did get a new edition.
Oh, nice. I think. Did you show me that last time, or did you just show me offline? Because I remember seeing that.
It was that one.
Those are some pretty dope tattoos.
Nice.
The IGY6. Like I got your 6, and then it's a cross, and then the number 22 in the helmet because 22 veterans a day kill themselves.
I mean, that's tragic, and it kind of steps all over Saxsquatch, but it is something that people should know about. So I'm not going to be butthurt that you brought it up. Like it is like veterans killing themselves is something that is a very problematic thing in the States. I can only imagine it's sadly the statistics probably higher with COVID and just basically like the despair being notched up.
Yeah, because you can't leave your house. So if you have bad thoughts and you can't leave, I mean, you're just gonna wallow in them. But real quick, not to like sidetrack or take but if anybody is listening,
the subhead is Tangent Factory. So
there is a organization, IGY6, that does take donations, and it goes into helping provide therapy and like this, and they provide animals like therapy dogs or actual therapy sessions for veterans that are suffering with severe PTSD. I've gone through them myself for my therapy, and they are an amazing organization. So yeah, just that real quick.
Okay. That's good.
We would. And sorry, what can we get that name one more time, and we'll link to it in the show notes as well.
Yeah, it's IGY6. It stands for I got your 6, like I got your back.
6 is like the code word because it's at the bottom of the clock, right?
It's if you're saying like, hey, there's a hot chick at 6 o'clock, you gotta turn around and look at her.
Yeah.
Because at 12 o'clock she's in front of you.
Yeah. And then it's like 12 o'clock is you looking straight forward, and then like 10's here and 2's over here.
Yeah.
I'm just mansplaining I got your 6, so I'm sorry. Should probably stop doing that.
Doing a fucking poor ass job too.
Hey, I just wanted people to know that I know what it came from.
Yeah, they are an actual phenomenal group. Like I said, I went through them myself because I had to go through about 6 months of therapy after the deployments I've been through, and so they are really awesome. They do a lot.
Yeah, you've been through what, 18 deployments? You said?
No, 5.
Oh, 5 deployments and 18
combats. Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus.
I'm so bad at remembering this. Yeah, if you want some gnarly stories, go back to the previous 2 episodes Emilio was on. The first one, he told me some very serious stories, and I mean, they're good to listen to.
Yeah, they're definitely an experience, that's for sure. I actually have I'll send you the link actually. I have a couple videos posted on YouTube now. Because I wore a GoPro, so I've got about seven or 8 clips of me in actual live combat on YouTube.
Are you allowed to share that?
Once it's I mean, it was my GoPro. Fuck them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because this is something that might be interesting for people to know. Like when you're in combat, like you had that video, you probably weren't allowed to share it right away because of
why not?
I don't know. I don't know how the military works. I thought there was like a thing where it was you weren't allowed to share videos right away because it might give away people
in the so like people in the military, they're not allowed to like disclose like confidential information.
Yeah.
But I mean,
well, even like location information could be problem. Like I remember what the fuck was it? A few years ago, like Strava, the running app, had this thing where they aggregated everyone's running data over the year and showed like hotspots of like running routes. And some of the shit that ended up showing up were like secret US military bases that like didn't show up on like Google Maps, but they were showing up on this fucking thing because people would run routes there and Strava would take their data and upload it and be like, look how many people are running here. So they ended up.
Did you guys ever hear about what's the writer's name? The guy that writes all like about Tom Clancy. So Tom Clancy, he got investigated by the FBI because a lot of his stuff, like he never served in the military, he never had any correspondence with anybody in the military, but like his shit was super accurate just because he did a lot of reading online, like public information. So he wrote a book, and in the book he disclosed the location of Area 51, and the FBI came knocking, was like, how did you find out where we had this secret government location? And he was like, well, it was just really odd to me that like 5,000 government employees randomly on the same day changed their mailing address to this spot in Nevada, or in New Mexico, I mean.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, like he's like, and they were all scientists. They were all people that either did physics or anything to do with space. He was like, so what are the odds that all of these government officials that had to do with space and science suddenly all moved to the same exact city in the middle of nowhere? And they were like, oh, yeah, you kind of got us there.
You got us. That's an easy one to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's a cool thing there's a video on YouTube actually where it discusses that. Like there was like a guy that wrote a book, and he actually put out in public the exact way that the atomic bomb was being built, like down to the T. Like it was stuff that you could never figure out unless you were in the room with the meeting, and they were like, who are you talking to? Like somebody's talking to you on the inside because you have like measurements and schematics for this thing that literally have been written down one time and then destroyed. There's no way you would know this. And it was just it just came down to him doing research on the best way to build a massive bomb, what materials you would use, and he said just use common knowledge or common sense on how it would be put together. And he got it 100% correct, like to the T.
Oh, crazy!
And, they arrested him, or like he was under investigation. Like Homeland Security, the FBI, they're all searching into his stuff because he got so much information that was correct in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, how do you know these things? Because you're talking to somebody. Like we have told nobody about this big ass bomb we're building, and you know exactly how it looks. And he was like, yeah, it's just I'm a grad student that I know quantum physics, and I just use common sense on how you put it together. I just happen to get it right.
That's crazy. That's like that's one of those weird coincidences where you're like, oh yeah, I guess. And they're like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, you paid all these super smart scientists and stuff to do this stuff I figured out, and I'm just a guy who writes novels. Like, I bet the government was like, fuck, we should have just got this guy to do it.
Yeah, to do our intelligence.
Because the Manhattan Project was probably pretty expensive.
Yeah. Like, just Google that. Google Manhattan Project gets found out by civilian, and it's a whole ass story. Like, it's amazing. Like,
yeah.
Like, it was like, yeah, like, what are the odds that you have 51,000 government employees move on the same day to fucking New Mexico, middle of nowhere, where it's a town whose population used to be 200 people, and now it's 50,200.
It's like a forest through the trees thing where you don't see it because you're too close to the situation.
Yeah, U.S. government is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most governments are, right? Like, they just...
I don't think they're stupid. I think it's like a lack of communication, not having like... It's like, because it's such a big organization, it's too big for one person.
They just don't fucking communicate. And like, yeah, nobody on over here knows what anyone over here is doing. And like, that's true. Canadian government completely shits the bed at that as well.
So. At all times.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing.
That's government in general.
Because a lot of the times it means most conspiracies could never happen because the government doesn't communicate with itself enough to actually do conspiracies. So you're like, oh, yeah. I guess they wouldn't be keeping aliens secret because they don't know.
There's 0% chance they'd be able to do that because...
Yeah.
Hey, Dale, was it you that posted in our group chat the conspiracy theory about Men in Black? Is that you?
About who?
The movie Men in Black.
Oh, no, that wasn't me. What was... I missed the conspiracy theory?
Yeah, did you watch it?
No.
Don't tell them. We'll have to hear about it on the next podcast.
Just give me the quick rundown of this conspiracy theory.
So there's a scene in Men in Black where you can see the Twin Towers in the background.
Yeah.
And it's weird because out of nowhere, these two birds appear and they fly into the towers. So they were like, the Men in Black predict the towers coming down?
Oh, God.
That's fucking amazing.
Nice.
Of all the movies to do it, it was Men in Black.
Right. Movie based on aliens.
Was Men in Black funded by Saudi Arabia?
Must have been.
Turns out it was. The Crown Prince financed it.
Yeah.
Dale, anything else you'd like? I gotta go feed my child dinner pretty quick here.
The Crown Prince. The Fresh Prince was in Men in Black.
Snap.
Oh, how deep does it go?
What aren't they telling us?
I think you just found the first conspiracy for your conspiracy podcast, Dale.
Well, I know how I'm spending the rest of my weekend. It's looking into the conspiracy theories of Men in Black. Oh, fuck. Derek, do you need to go to talk to your kid? Because I'm going to talk about a conspiracy theory about Simon and Garfunkel.
Well, I need to put food, like feed him, but I mean, do it. Do the conspiracy.
Why don't you just
Simon and Garfunkel.
Make some chicken nuggets and just toss them his way every 5 minutes ago. Just toss them on.
I don't know. It's like, so you know the song Sound of Silence? Like, everybody knows like two of Simon and Garfunkel's songs, like Sound of Silence and
Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Yeah, so I like heard those songs.
Me and
like,
Julio down by the schoolyard.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, anyways, so it's like I hear these songs, I'm like, oh, these guys are wieners. And then one day I was like a day this week, I was like, I've never actually listened to a whole Simon and Garfunkel album. Let's go see what the rest of their songs sound like. So I went and listened to their first one, which is Wednesday morning, 3 a.m., I think. Is this
a conspiracy, or is this just telling us about how you listened to Simon and Garfunkel one time?
That's how it starts, Derek. Every tale has to be personalized.
You are the person that Japanese guy was talking about.
What's that? Yeah, don't put me on the Olympic committee.
Yeah, whatever.
Because we won't get it'll be like
go from talking about long jump to talking about how was funded by the Saudi Arabians.
Yeah. I'll be like, hey, you want to hear a conspiracy about
you want to hear a conspiracy theory about long jump?
All right, Darren. We're about to go because
it's funny about the pole vault. Yeah. Oh, so You guys both sound like you have to go.
We do. So wrap up your fucking story.
Okay. So I listened to this Simon and Garfunkel album, and it's pretty much the darkest thing I've ever heard. I don't know why. I think it's my brother was telling me it's just their harmonies. Everything sounds dark when they like two people sing in harmony, like Everly Brothers is super depressing too. And I was like, no, it feels like it's even darker than that. But then, so I Googled it. I was like, well, I got to see if there's something conspiracy theory about this. So if you look at the lyrics of Sound of Silence, there's something about like a neon light. And then I was like, huh. And then I just found this page that was like, had this like entry from Madame Blavatsky's work. She was like this like theologist in the 1880s, and they like worship Satan and were saying that like Satan actually wasn't the fall of man. Satan was supposed to be this guy who's supposed to like enlighten all of mankind. And then there's this weird coalition between, not coalition, like sameness, I guess, between the words of her entry from her book in 1880 and the lyrics of Simon and Garfunkel. So they're secretly Satanists. That is my whole conspiracy theory.
Hey Dale, can you see both of our pictures at once? Like me and Derek at the same time? So
yeah,
we have the same face
it's awesome because you guys are just like, fuck, okay, fine. We'll listen to this conspiracy theory and then we'll go. And it's like Derek's kid's hungry. Emilio's girlfriend's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And I'm just sitting here and being like, well, according to this like lady from 1880, apparently Simon and Garfunkel are Satanists.
That wasn't even a good. All musicians are Satanists. Everyone knows this already. Play a Simon and Garfunkel album backwards.
You're just gonna lay that on me? No forewarning?
Play a Taylor Swift. Play a Taylor Swift album backwards, and she won't get any money from it, and you'll find out that she worships Satan. So
actually, she'll have to pay you.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Outrage Factory. This has been another wonderful episode. Emilio, thanks so much for taking the time to join us, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Dale, wait, what's our normal wrap up here? Oh, if you want to, you do the social media stuff now because I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, Derek's not on social media anymore.
I'm not allowed.
You're still on Facebook and Instagram.
I am. Don't follow me on either of those places because I probably don't like you very much.
Okay, he's basically just off Twitter. So if you want to go to the podcast Twitter, it is Outragefactorypod. I am Super Dalebot. Emilio, do you have Twitter?
Yeah, no. Emilio, if people want to like follow you on the internet, do you want them to do that, or do you give a shit?
If they want to be offended. Like, I don't mind.
I mean,
yeah, you guys can make good political jokes. Yeah, he's on Facebook. His name. I'll spell your name in the comment.
Find me on Facebook. It's just my name.
Right up. Yeah. What's your last name? I don't want to mispronounce it.
Chagolla.
Oh, that's a lot easier. It was like looked like it would be harder to pronounce. See, I would have put too much flourish on it instead.
I feel like this is where an insult comes in.
No insults here. I would have just said Chagolla because I would have been like,
that's how you say it in Spanish.
There you go, Dale. So multicultural. The least white Dutch guy who has ever existed.
Yeah, because we all know that the Dutch people are very respectful of other cultures.
But that being multicultural does not give you the pass to say the N-word. So mind your P's and Q's.
And your N's.
All right, everyone. Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks for
that's
listening.
Basically it.
And until next week,
stay angry.
Always
angry.
You should go put some makeup on real quick because it looks like you just ran like a 10K.
I know. My face is so shiny. Whatever. People don't come to this podcast to look at my face. I hope.
There's nothing to do. So all this old shit's coming up now because
we're all just fucking bored.
To make new news. You can't leave to make new news. You gotta stay in the house. So just circling around.